Betty Roach claims she found her boyfriend in a compromising position at a party, so she canceled their international getaway. Kevin Aaron says the trip was a gift and their relationship was already on the rocks.
Good day. I see I've got Miss Betty Roach here as my plaintiff, Kevin Aaron as my defendant. And Ms. Roach, you are suing this man for $1,380. You say he refuses to reimburse you for his airline ticket?
An airline ticket that I purchased for a romantic getaway that we were supposed to go on together in February of this year.
So this was your man?
That's correct.
Okay, tell me more, ma'am.
I met Kevin about a year ago with some mutual friends, and we kind of hit it off. The energy was great, so I just decided to do something different, and I took a chance on dating him.
Okay, and how was the relationship in the beginning?
In the beginning, it was fantastic. I am a pretty successful realtor.
Okay, I see the drip. Yeah, okay.
And I really,
you don't have to be shy about being successful in this courtroom, Ms. Roach.
Okay, I didn't want to seem like I was trying to brag or anything.
Honey, you earned it. It's fine.
And I know that Kevin's financial situation is not like mine. So I didn't mind paying for dinners, for concerts and things of that sort because I knew where his financial status was, and we hit it off great.
I want to ask a question about that, Ms. Roach, and that's fine. I do think people should do what works for their relationships. At what point in the dating did you become aware that his financial situation was less than stable?
He would come to my home and he would just mention things like, I don't have, and I don't want you to think, and I would like to do this, but I don't have this. I'm a coach, but I'm really not making that much money. So
he would verbalize those things to you?
Yeah, he would talk about it. He was very honest. Okay. And that's why I did not have a problem with sharing.
With providing. Just say providing.
Okay, I didn't want to sound like I was a sugar mama.
Okay, well, but if that's what it is, what it is. You look like a duck, quack like a duck is a duck, Ms. Roach. Okay, okay, so you were the provider. Continue.
And everything was going great until probably December.
Okay, so
and
around
what happened was we went to a mutual party, friend's party, and I was really embarrassed. I was looking all over for Kevin, and I found him in the pool room, huddled up with another woman, kissing her. And it was another older woman.
On the mouth?
Yes. And because of the way he was positioned, he didn't even see me walk in the room. So I just turned around, walked out, got in my car, and I left him there with her. And let him get home the best way that he could.
Now, y'all were not living together?
No, we were not. So I did not hear from him that night. And I guess the part that was kind of heartbroken, I understand that there's a 25-year difference between Kevin and I. But
I really couldn't tell, to be honest with you, but go ahead.
It must be the lighting.
Might be the moisturizer, might be the melanin. Go ahead. Hello.
But the thing is that the next day when he called me, I asked him, hey, what happened? Where were you? I was looking for you. And I said, let's discuss it when you come over.
Okay, so now this is about to be a setup.
So I had him to come to my house.
Right. You gotta stop playing game with these older ladies. Boy, they run a different kind of game. Go ahead, Ms. Rose.
And then that's when I let him know what I saw.
Right.
And because I had planned this romantic getaway for us previously.
And did he know about this trip?
Yes, I sent him an email, and because this is a place that he always wanted to go.
Go ahead and give your evidence, ma'am, to my bailiff so we can see what you're talking about.
Thank you very much.
And I gave you everything.
Yes, ma'am.
I texted him, and he was excited about the trip, and I was excited because our relationship was really going well.
Right.
And I didn't mind spending the money because it was for us.
Well, I'm taken aback. I'm looking at this exchange. Hey, Kevin, I'm about to make your year. We can discuss when we see each other tonight, but I'm going to be booking a romantic getaway for the two of us to Prague. I'm going to get us premium economy for the flight. He is so excited, y'all. OMG, I don't know what to say. Prague, I can't wait to travel with you. So this was the agreement.
Correct.
Okay, let me get this gentleman in here, sir. Do you recall this conversation?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, so you were dating this lady, and this was your girlfriend, right?
Yeah, we were dating for about a year.
Oh, so that's serious, right?
Yeah,
Did you care for her?
I do. I still do.
Oh, you still do?
I still do. She's a lovely woman. Despite what's going on right now, I have a
Okay.
lot of respect for her.
Coming up on Equal Justice.
She bought the ticket as a gift for me. She knows I've been wanting to go to Prague for a very long time, and you can ask her. She doesn't know the first thing about the Czech Republic. I'll tell you right now.
Equal Justice is back with a dispute between Betty Roach and her ex-boyfriend, Kevin Aaron, over a canceled vacation.
Okay, so let's get to this night in question then, Mr. Aaron. Were you indeed lip-locked with another lady?
I made a mistake.
Okay.
100%.
And that was the first time you had made that mistake, right?
Been having, yes, it was. We had been having intimacy issues. You
Oh.
know,
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Aaron. Let me hear your side.
the age gap, I do believe, played a factor in that, and I didn't do a good enough job vocalizing that, and I let maybe.
So I want to get clear, just so the court knows what we're talking about, Mr. Aaron. You didn't feel sexually satisfied, so you looked to sow your oats elsewhere at this party.
I didn't look to show my oats elsewhere. I had a few drinks in me at the time.
Now we're blaming it on the alcohol?
A woman came and
Okay.
approached me, and I didn't make the best decision. I wasn't thinking
Clearly.
ahead of time.
Okay. So you kissed this other lady. Did you know that you were spotted?
To be honest, I was a little bit too inebriated. I wasn't really thinking too much.
Okay, so you
which
were
is
really out of it.
Why,
Okay.
when she left.
Got it. So she leaves you. Were you upset when you got left?
A little bit. I mean, I kind of was a little bit all over the place at that time. I had a friend brought me home,
Okay.
and then I realized, you know.
So
we
not the
obviously-
woman that kissed you?
No.
Okay. Okay, so you get home, and is this what y'all talk about the very next day?
No.
No, this
No.
has already been established.
That had already been established.
Okay, so you already knew that this trip was planned. Okay,
I
I'm gonna
did.
get back to you, Mr. Aaron. Go ahead, Ms. Roach. After this
So-
happens, he comes over.
So after he came over, we discussed the situation, and I just decided that it was best that we go our separate ways.
So you broke up with him?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And he was trying to convince me to stay in the relationship because it was just a mistake. At this point, I felt like, because I know the woman that he was huddled up with,
Okay.
I felt that he was in a relationship with me for financial benefits, and I did not want to go through with that anymore, and I just decided that I just didn't want to.
You were done being the ATM.
So I decided to cancel the trip.
Okay.
And when I spoke with him, I know he didn't have the money to pay me back. So I asked him, because of the way the airline is, their policy, they gave the credit because the ticket was in his name.
Okay.
So they gave him credit and they gave me credit. So I asked him if he would transfer me the credits to my account.
Because
Since
you
I
had
was
paid
the one
for
that
the
paid
ticket.
for it.
Right.
And he flat out told me no.
Pause. Is that true, Mr. Aaron?
It is true. She bought the ticket as a gift for me. She knows I've been wanting to go to Prague for a very long time, and you can ask her. She doesn't know the first thing about the Czech Republic. I'll tell you right now.
Not
we
broke
had
and
discussed.
shady. Okay, go ahead, Mr.
We had
Aaron.
discussed. You know, she had asked my interest, and I told her I've been wanting to go to this place for a long time, and so
Never been out of Chicago.
without consulting.
Wait,
me,
hold on, Ms. Roach. You say he never been out of Chicago? Did you already have a passport, Mr. Aaron?
I did not.
So you got a passport, sir, specifically to go on this international trip to Prague.
For other reasons.
That's fine, but I'm just clarifying. Okay, so you were very excited about this trip.
100%. I've been
Okay.
wanting to go on this trip for a very long time.
Okay, now tell me about the money you had saved up to go on the trip. I can't hear you, Mr. Aaron.
I'm a high school football coach, Your Honor. I don't do it for the money. I do it because I enjoy having an impact on other kids' lives.
I do appreciate that.
I do resent the fact that she looks at me like I was trying to go for her money. Everything that she had ever paid for, I never requested it. I appreciated
Did you
her
give it back?
generosity.
Did you give it back?
If I could, I would, Your Honor. If I could, I would.
Ain't that so crazy how you can't give it back? Okay. Let me go to some of these receipts here. So this, it looks like the flight receipt, Ms. Roach?
Yes.
Okay, so this is from Chicago to Prague, business economy, very nice premium economy. Very pricey, almost $3,000 on these tickets. I see
Yes.
the tune. Each ticket was $1,380. That is a hefty fund, and I do see that they were both paid for, ma'am, on your card.
That's correct.
Okay. Then let's look at the airline policy. Very important. Do I get my miles if I buy a ticket for someone else? If you paid for someone's ticket, that traveler would earn the miles. So that is in black and white here, Ms. Roach, in their policy. If the trip is eligible for a refund and you paid for someone else's ticket, that traveler would be refunded the miles to use for a future booking. But here's the caveat. Can I transfer my miles to someone else? And the answer there is yes. You are allowed to transfer any amount of miles over to someone else. So this policy is actually pretty flexible in that it's very clear that the miles go to the traveler, but the traveler has the ability to then transfer the miles back to the purchaser. You're both clear on the policy?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So therefore, Mr. Aaron, what is your response, sir?
I understand your position, but the trip is in my name, and I've been wanting to go on it for a very long time. I have documents stating
Okay, give it to
that
my bailiff,
it was
sir.
a gift that
Okay, let
she
me
got
see.
for me.
You just have your folder and everything?
Was that? Oh, yes, of course.
Thank you, sir.
Now, she didn't consult me on going on this trip. We didn't plan it together or anything like that. She bought it as a surprise, strictly because she knew
romantic
how much that I
getaway.
wanted to go.
A
Okay,
romantic
let's see this.
getaway.
Hold on. I just booked the tickets. Let me know when you want to talk tonight and we can start planning our itinerary for Prague. Very sweet. You says, thanks, babe. You're the best for surprising me with this gift. And then you hit him with the little sweet emojis. Okay. Was your understanding, Ms. Roach, that it was a gift?
No, it was a romantic getaway for the two of us.
Coming up on Equal Justice.
Now, final question for you, Mr. Aaron. Were you with her for the money, sir?
Not true at all.
Don't forget,
I wouldn't be
you are under sworn testimony.
This is Equal Justice. Equal Justice is back with a dispute between Betty Roach and her ex-boyfriend, Kevin Aaron, over a canceled vacation.
I do see the verbiage here. So in what part of that did you hear gift, sir?
Just the fact that she knew that it was a destination I wanted to go to, and she didn't really have much interest in going to Prague, except for the fact that she was dating me and she understood that I wanted to
I
go
say
there.
that he's out of his mind because the reason why we even talked about travel was because I do a lot of traveling, and I just told him about my trip that I had come back from. We were in Haiti, Jamaica, and the Bahamas, and we was like, wow. And he's like, then I said, is there anywhere that you haven't been? He said, I haven't gone anywhere. I haven't gone out of Chicago.
That is not true.
He has not
I have
been out of
family in
Chicago.
I have family in St. Louis that I have visited.
You said
I have
St.
a
Louis.
car,
I'm so
man.
sorry.
I can leave the city.
Oh my God.
Wait a minute, wait, quick. I'm laughing to my own self because I really, truly, God is my witness, thought you said St. Lucia. Elijah, I swear to God, I thought you said St. Lucia.
I wish I did.
And then he said St.
Louis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Aaron, you a trip. Okay. So you, sir, were very excited about this trip. So when she asked you for the points back, you said absolutely not.
I felt like the airline policy was pretty clear.
But it was clear in both ways, right?
It was. You can.
You can transfer them back.
Yes.
So if you wanted to give her the points back, you know you can.
I do
But
know.
you're choosing not to. Why?
Because I really want to go on this trip, Your Honor.
Period. Okay, now, final question for you, Mr. Aaron. Were you with her for the money, sir?
Not true at all.
Don't forget,
I wouldn't be
you are under sworn testimony.
100%. I wouldn't be a high school football coach if I was in anything for the money, ma'am. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, I hear that argument, but one could counter-argue, sir, that you could be in that for the relatively low money if you had a plan to supplement your lifestyle.
I was a football coach long before I met her.
Okay.
Coming up on Equal Justice.
You, ma'am, as a black woman, you know you represent the most educated demographic in our nation. So you got to look at that, ma'am, as you partner in the future.
This is Equal Justice. Equal Justice is back with a dispute between Betty Roach and her ex-boyfriend, Kevin Aaron, over a canceled vacation.
I hear you, Ms. Roach, but woman to woman, we are accountable and responsible for the choices that we make, right? So you told this court, admittedly, that you have full knowledge and understanding of this younger man's financially compromised position when you started up with him, right?
Correct.
Okay. So I do think when we, as adults, go into romantic partnerships, we need to be realistic and we need to be really honest, ma'am, about what that's going to look like. You live a certain lifestyle that early on in the courtship, you knew this young man could not participate in. So one could argue, while you are trying to convince the court that he was using you to some extent, that is almost an implication of expectation when you start doing life with somebody that is not equally yoked with you financially. So I don't critique the decision to date outside your tax bracket, but this typically is the consequence we see in this courtroom, ma'am, when one chooses to do it. And if you were a man and this was a woman, I would be saying the exact same thing. See, we got to recognize, y'all, that in this day and age, these old gender roles, where it was always the man who had the wealth and the power, they're changing. They're changing for a lot of different reasons. Women are going to school much longer than men are these days. We're opening businesses more often than men are these days. And you, ma'am, as a black woman, you know you represent the most educated demographic in our nation.
Exactly.
You represent the fastest class of business owners in America. You represent home ownership at a level that is rising twice that of men of any race. So you got to look at that, ma'am, as you partner in the future.
Judge Eboni's verdict when Equal Justice returns. This is Equal Justice.
All right, I think absent any more final remarks from either of you two, the court is ready to rule. Here's where I stand on this. Mr. Aaron, I actually tend to disbelieve a narrative that you were using her, but I do think you were mighty comfortable. As for the points, your argument that they were a gift to you is not convincing, sir. I think this woman in the text messages to the court made it very clear that her intention, and that's what I'm making my ruling on, her intention was for a joint romantic experience for the two of you to share. Once you violated her trust, sir, with the cheating, which I commend you for admitting, you breached that expectation. The court is ordering you to refund the entirety of this woman's cost, $1,380. The court rules entirely for the plaintiff. That's my ruling.
Judge Eboni has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $1,380.
The atmosphere in the courtroom was thick with a sense of anticipation and the gravity of shared human experiences. Above the bench, a nameplate caught the light, bearing the name Judge Eboni K. Williams in clear, authoritative letters. For those who stepped into this space, that name represented more than just a person. It represented the lens through which their lives would be examined and their disputes settled. The judge looked out at the room with a gaze that was both sharp and empathetic, reflection of a life journey that spanned from the warm traditions of North Carolina and Louisiana to the sophisticated cool of the West Coast and the unyielding edge of New York City. She spoke with a voice that carried the weight of experience, reminding everyone present that in this particular courtroom, the only thing that truly mattered was how she saw the facts and the law. She asked if there was a problem, her tone direct yet fair, and the response from the room was a respectful denial of any issues. To her, equal justice was not just a phrase, it was the embodiment of the most important values of the country, including freedom and integrity. These were the ideals she strived for every single day as she sought to be a voice for those who felt unheard. She understood that every person who stood before her had their own story, their own struggles, and their own way of running their lives. Whether it was a woman managing her household or a man making his own way, she respected their agency while holding them to the standards of the law. This court was a place for people from all sectors of life, regardless of their background, race, or identity, because equal justice with Judge Eboni K. Williams was a promise of fairness for everyone. The case on the docket today involved Miss Betty Roach and Mr. Kevin Aaron. It was a dispute born from the ashes of a relationship that had once been filled with promise, but had ended in a cloud of betrayal and financial disagreement. Miss Betty Roach, a successful realtor with a style that spoke of hard work and achievement, stood as the plaintiff. She was suing Mr. Kevin Aaron for the sum of $1,380. This amount represented the cost of an airline ticket she had purchased for a romantic getaway to Prague, a trip that was supposed to take place in February of this year. As the judge listened, Miss Roach began to tell the story of how they met. It had been about 1 year ago through mutual friends, and the initial energy between them had been fantastic. Miss Roach had decided to take a chance on love, stepping outside of her usual circles to date Kevin. In the beginning, everything seemed wonderful. She was proud of her success in the real estate market and did not shy away from the fruits of her labor. The judge encouraged her, noting that there was no need to be modest about earned success. Miss Roach admitted that she knew Kevin was not in the same financial position as she was, but she did not mind being the provider for dinners, concerts, and other experiences because she valued the connection they had. She was honest about the fact that she had become the primary financial support in the relationship, a role she accepted because Kevin had been transparent about his limited income as a high school football coach. However, the harmony began to fracture in December during a party hosted by mutual friends. Miss Roach recounted the painful moment when she found Kevin in a pool room, huddled up and kissing another woman on the mouth. The woman was older, and the betrayal was so blatant that Kevin did not even notice Miss Roach enter the room. Heartbroken and embarrassed, she chose to walk away in silence, leaving him there to find his own way home. They did not live together, so the silence lasted until the following day when Kevin called, acting as if nothing had happened. He asked where she had gone, and she invited him over to her home to discuss the situation. It was during this meeting that she confronted him with what she had seen. Before this incident, she had planned a romantic surprise for him, a trip to Prague, which was a place he had always expressed a deep desire to visit. She presented the evidence of their communication to the court, showing how excited Kevin had been when he first learned of the gift. He had responded with overwhelming joy, stating that he could not wait to travel with her. Mr. Kevin Aaron, standing as the defendant, acknowledged the history of their relationship and admitted that he still had a great deal of respect for Miss Roach. He described her as a lovely woman but argued that the ticket had been a gift. When the judge questioned him about the night of the party, Kevin admitted to making a mistake. He pointed toward intimacy issues and the 25-year age gap as contributing factors to his poor decision-making. He claimed that he had been inebriated and had not been thinking clearly when another woman approached him. He expressed a sense of confusion and regret, but Miss Roach saw things differently. To her, the betrayal was the end of the line. She realized that she had been acting as an automated teller machine for someone who did not respect their commitment. She decided to cancel the trip and end the relationship. The crux of the legal dispute lay in the airline points. Because the ticket was in Kevin's name, the airline had issued the travel credit to him. Miss Roach asked him to transfer the points back to her account since she had paid for them with her own money, but Kevin refused. He argued that since it was a gift and a dream destination he had never visited, he should be allowed to keep it. He mentioned that he had never even been out of the city of Chicago, except for a trip to St. Louis, which led to a brief moment of lighthearted confusion in the courtroom when the judge initially thought he meant the island of St. Lucia. Kevin maintained that he was not with Miss Roach for her money and that he truly cared for his work as a coach, despite the low pay. Judge Eboni K. Williams took a moment to address the broader social context of the case. She spoke directly to Miss Roach as a Black woman, noting that she belonged to one of the most educated and fastest-growing groups of business owners and homeowners in the nation. The judge emphasized the importance of being realistic about financial dynamics in a relationship. She pointed out that when there is a significant disparity in income, the person with more resources must be aware of the potential consequences. However, she also made it clear that the intention of the purchase was the deciding factor. The evidence showed that the trip was intended to be a shared romantic experience, not a gift for Kevin to enjoy on his own after violating the trust of the relationship. By cheating, Kevin had breached the expectations of that shared journey. Therefore, the judge ruled in favor of the plaintiff, ordering Mr. Kevin Aaron to pay Miss Betty Roach the full amount of $1,380. As the proceedings concluded, the judge offered a final piece of advice about being more thoughtful in the future, and the two parties left the courtroom, the legal matter finally resolved with a sense of fairness and clarity. The atmosphere in the courtroom of Judge Eboni K. Williams was charged with a unique blend of authority and expectant silence. The room itself seemed to reflect the personality of the woman presiding over it. If one looked closely at the nameplate on the bench, it read Judge Eboni K. Williams. For her, those letters represented more than just a title. They represented a philosophy of life and a commitment to a specific kind of justice. She often told those who entered her presence that the only thing that truly mattered in this particular courtroom was how she perceived the truth. Her perspective was a rich tapestry woven from different threads of the American experience. She was a woman from North Carolina by way of Louisiana, carrying with her the relaxed cool of the West Coast and the sharp, uncompromising edge of New York City. As the proceedings began, Judge Williams looked toward a woman standing in the courtroom. She asked if there was a problem, her voice steady and observant. The woman replied that she had no problem at all. This was the starting point for a deeper exploration of what equal justice meant. To the judge, it was all about the most important values of the country, such as freedom and integrity. These were the ideals she strived for in every ruling. She understood the dynamics of power and responsibility, often reminding those before her that while a woman might run her own household, a man also had the right to run his. This sense of balance was why she had decided to become an attorney and pursue the law in the first place. She wanted to be a voice for those who felt they had none. In this court, accountability was the cornerstone. Judge Williams knew that she could not hold a person accountable without understanding the full context of their life. Her courtroom saw people from all sectors of society, including black and white, people of all orientations, and individuals from every walk of life. This diversity was the essence of what equal justice with Judge Eboni K. Williams was all about. On this particular day, the case involved Betty Roach and Kevin Aaron. Betty Roach claimed that she had discovered her boyfriend in a compromising position during a social gathering, an event that led her to cancel their planned international vacation. On the other side, Kevin Aaron argued that the trip was a gift and that their relationship had already been experiencing significant difficulties. The judge greeted the parties with a professional good day. She acknowledged Miss Betty Roach as the plaintiff and Kevin Aaron as the defendant. The core of the dispute was a sum of $1,380. Miss Roach was suing for this amount because she believed Kevin should reimburse her for an airline ticket she had purchased. It was meant to be a romantic getaway for the two of them in February of that year. When asked to tell more about the situation, Miss Roach explained that she had met Kevin about 1 year ago through mutual friends. The initial energy between them was fantastic, and she decided to take a chance on dating him. In the beginning, everything seemed wonderful. Miss Roach was a highly successful realtor, a fact that Judge Williams noted with a smile, encouraging her not to be shy about her success. In this courtroom, earning success was something to be respected. Miss Roach admitted that she knew Kevin was not in the same financial position as she was. She did not mind paying for dinners, concerts, or other events because she enjoyed his company and valued the relationship they had built. However, Judge Williams probed deeper, asking when exactly Miss Roach became aware that Kevin's financial situation was less than stable. Miss Roach recalled that Kevin was very honest from the start. He would mention that he did not have much money and that he did not want her to think poorly of him. He was a high school football coach and verbalized his financial limitations clearly. Miss Roach hesitated to use the word providing, not wanting to sound like a sugar mama, but the judge encouraged her to be direct. In this relationship, Miss Roach was indeed the provider. This dynamic worked well until December, when they attended a party hosted by mutual friends. At that party, Miss Roach found herself looking for Kevin, only to find him in the pool room. He was huddled up with another woman, an older woman, and they were kissing on the mouth. Kevin was positioned in a way that he did not see Miss Roach walk in. Feeling heartbroken and embarrassed, she simply turned around, walked out, and left him there to find his own way home. They were not living together at the time, and Miss Roach did not hear from him that night. She reflected on the 25-year age difference between them, though she noted that it was not always obvious. The next day, when Kevin called and asked where she had been, she invited him to her house to discuss the situation. She had already planned the romantic getaway to Prague, a place Kevin had always expressed a desire to visit. She had even sent him an email with the flight details, and he had been incredibly excited. Miss Roach presented her evidence to the bailiff, including text messages showing their exchange. She had told him she was about to make his year by booking the trip. Kevin had responded with great enthusiasm, saying he did not know what to say and could not wait to travel with her. It was a clear agreement in her eyes. When Kevin Aaron was asked to speak, he confirmed the conversation. He admitted that they had been dating for about a year and that he still cared for Miss Roach, describing her as a lovely woman for whom he had a lot of respect. However, the details of that night in the pool room remained a point of contention. Kevin admitted to making a mistake, 100%. He claimed that the couple had been experiencing intimacy issues and that the age gap played a factor in their disconnect. He admitted he had not done a good job of vocalizing his feelings. Under the judge's questioning, Kevin explained that he had been drinking and that a woman had approached him. He claimed he was not thinking clearly and was somewhat inebriated. He did not realize he had been spotted by Miss Roach. When she left the party without him, he was confused and eventually had a friend take him home. The conversation the next day at Miss Roach's house led to their breakup. She felt that Kevin was only in the relationship for the financial benefits, and she no longer wanted to feel like an automated teller machine. She decided to cancel the trip. However, because the airline ticket was in Kevin's name, the airline issued the travel credit to him. Miss Roach asked him to transfer the credits back to her since she was the one who had paid the $1,380. Kevin refused. Kevin's justification was that the ticket was a gift. He pointed out that he had wanted to go to Prague for a long time and that he had even obtained a passport specifically for international travel. He argued that Miss Roach had surprised him with the gift and that they had not planned it together. Judge Williams examined the flight receipts. The tickets were for premium economy, costing nearly $3,000 in total, with each individual ticket priced at $1,380. Both were paid for on Miss Roach's credit card. The judge also reviewed the airline policy, which stated that while miles or credits often go to the traveler whose name is on the ticket, those credits are indeed transferable to another person. Kevin maintained his stance, stating that he really wanted to go on the trip and that the airline policy supported him keeping the credit. He insisted that he was not with Miss Roach for her money, citing his career as a high school football coach as proof that he was not driven by financial gain. He argued that he had been a coach long before he met her and that he appreciated her generosity but never requested it. At one point, a moment of humor broke through the tension when Miss Roach claimed Kevin had never even been out of Chicago. Kevin corrected her, saying he had visited family in St. Louis. Miss Roach laughed, admitted she had mistakenly thought he said St. Lucia. The judge found the exchange amusing, but quickly returned to the heart of the matter. Judge Williams addressed Miss Roach with a sense of empathy, but also with firm reality. She reminded her that as adults, people are responsible for the choices they make in romantic partnerships. Miss Roach knew about Kevin's financial situation from the beginning. The judge noted that when there is a significant financial disparity between partners, certain consequences often follow. She observed that in the modern era, traditional gender roles are changing. Women are increasingly the more educated and financially successful partners in many relationships. She pointed out that Black women, in particular, represent a highly educated and fast-growing group of business owners and homeowners in the United States. In her final ruling, Judge Williams stated that she did not believe Kevin was intentionally using Miss Roach, but she did believe he had become very comfortable with her providing for him. She found the argument that the ticket was a pure gift to be unconvincing. The text messages clearly showed that the intention of the purchase was for a joint romantic experience. By cheating at the party, Kevin had violated the trust and the expectations of that joint experience. Therefore, the court ordered Kevin Aaron to refund the full amount of $1,380 to Miss Roach. The judge ruled entirely in favor of the plaintiff. As they prepared to leave, Miss Roach advised Kevin to be more thoughtful when dealing with other women in the future. Kevin accepted the decision, though he still felt the airline policy had been on his side. They gathered their belongings and followed the bailiff out of the room, leaving the courtroom of Judge Eboni K. Williams with a resolution rooted in integrity and accountability. The atmosphere in the courtroom was charged with a unique blend of solemnity and the vibrant energy of the city. At the center of it all sat Judge Eboni K. Williams, a woman whose presence commanded respect and radiated an aura of sophisticated authority. She looked down at the nameplate resting on her bench, a simple object that carried the weight of her reputation. To her, that nameplate was not just a title, but a testament to a journey that spanned from the warm hospitality of North Carolina and Louisiana to the sharp, fast-paced streets of New York, all while maintaining a touch of West Coast cool. She understood that in this particular sanctuary of the law,